Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 things that you can do to help you to become a better cyclist or just to become good on the bike. You know, it seems like more and more of the conversations that we're having, be it like pre-ride, post-ride talks, or even topics of discussions that I'm seeing online are revolved around things like the equipment we have available to us, changes or advancements with technology, industry news, and another big one is improvements to your fitness, things that you can do to become stronger. But often overlooked is the importance of being good on the bike. So today I'm going to share 3 things that I have practiced throughout the years that have helped me to become good on the bike or just to improve my skill as a cyclist, beginning with the fit and the importance of tweaking your fit. That's right, I said tweaking your fit. Then I'm going to talk about spatial awareness, and I'm going to wrap it all up by talking about the importance of cadence. Cadence, oh my God. Cadence and speed and gearing is so important. We need to have that discussion. So let's jump in.
A good pedaling style is the result of fit, which means that you've gotten the right size bike for you. You've had a proper fit, whether you did a dirty fit or you did one of them comprehensive laser fits. And along the way, you've also made minor tweaks and adjustments. Now, your fit is done in a static environment, and you're going to find that once you get out in the real world, you're going to have different forces that are acting on you that's going to affect the way how you sit and the way how you feel on that bike. You're going to have to deal with different road surfaces, the wind, whether or not you're going up or down an incline. All of those things are going to affect not only the way how you pedal the bike, but the way how you feel on it. So your fit is going to need some tweaking. The idea is to be able to maintain a smooth cadence. And some of the things that you want to try to do is to keep your knees as close to the top tube as possible. If possible, you want to make sure that you have room with your saddle height position to be able to drop your heel or raise your knee up to your chest. Those are things that help you to smooth out your pedal stroke. You want to be able to maintain a relaxed upper body so that you can steer with your core and power through your hips and your lower back. Now, just like anybody on a bike, I have some physical issues or imperfections that you need to account for with a fit. For example, I have a little bit of scoliosis, which you'll notice that my right shoulder is usually lower on the bike than my left shoulder. I'm a little bit bow-legged, which affects me being able to keep my knees close to the top tube. I also have a leg power imbalance, which makes the bike pulse when I pedal. I cope with those issues with my saddle height. I keep my saddle height at 73 instead of 74 centimeters. I use 110 millimeter stem, not 120 millimeter stem on a 53.5 top tube bike. And I stretch and get massages on a regular basis.
Now, when it comes to selecting a bike fitter, to me, it's not about the tool or the equipment that they use. Years ago, this is what I use, a tape measure and a plumb line. And that's basically the same fit that I've used all these years. So there's a classic method and now there's the new method with technology. Regardless, for me, a bike fitter needs to be, number 1, a cyclist, and number 2, needs to be experienced in the sport. I have a friend that I rode a lot a couple years ago, and every time him and I were at a mass start event, we would always have the same commentary, especially right after COVID. We'd be like, saddle too high, saddle too low, bike too big, bike too small, wrong size stem. And our commentary about the way how people were positioned on the bike was consistent because we've been experienced and around the sport long enough that we can tell when a person is not pedaling properly because there's an issue with their fit. Recently, I was watching a YouTuber and she had gotten out and just got a new Specialized, I believe it was the LA. And she went out and got a retool bike fit at a bike shop. And right after they were done with her and she did her first ride, I was like, oh my God. Her saddle is too high, too far forward, and she's on too short of a stem. Consequently, she went back because she has lower back pain and numbness in her hands because they didn't distribute her weight properly on the bike because they were looking at numbers rather than looking at the way how she would pedal the bike in the real world. Now, my friend Chris, who you guys have seen on the channel before, recently went out and got a bike fit with the laser light show thing. And his bike fit is great because the guy who fits him is an experienced cyclist. So consequently, Chris is happy as a pig in slop.
Part of being good on a bike is having good spatial awareness. This is defined as an organized awareness of the objects in the space around us and also an awareness of our body's position in that space. To me, there's two aspects of this in cycling. The first being the obvious, kind of like the danger risk avoidance aspects of group riding, where we don't put fellow cyclists at unnecessary risk. The other part of it is being a good teammate, making sure that we don't let gaps grow, that we communicate very clearly of what our intentions are with other cyclists, and we basically just don't spring any surprises on the group. And as a good cyclist, that would mean that you don't wait till the last minute to let the people around you know that you're getting ready to get dropped. So let's look at a couple situations where it's important to keep that awareness keen. Group is going along at a fast clip and we have a few riders who are kind of sliding back. It could be fatigue, they're at their limit, it doesn't matter. You've got to pay attention to those types of things. The other example is of a rider who you can't see. Well, I can't see him. I just see people moving around and that gets my attention because he's, again, starting to slide back. So those are things that could potentially be very dangerous if you're really not paying attention. This is a situation that was not too pleasing. We're 30 miles into a very fast 40-mile group ride. And there's a group that breaks away and some of the remnants of the breakaway start coming back. I'm very vocal here because I know he wants to jump in, but him jumping in is going to cause a ripple effect.
Yo, don't jump in, hold it.
So for me, a part of spatial awareness isn't just being aware of things, but also speaking up and saying things. I don't know this guy and it's nothing personal, but I know that his jumping into the baseline with a speed differential would potentially have caused some sort of an issue. So that's an example of being aware. If I was too tired and I was chewing on my handlebar, there's no way that I would have been aware of what was taking place in front of me. So this aspect of spatial awareness is just me being aware of what's going on with my body. On this ride, it's been windy. I've been at the front, even taking a turn pulling the group. And before I get too fatigued, I'm going to signal the rider behind me to come through. And I'm just going to go to the back and kind of like recuperate a little bit. Because the whole idea here is that I'm trying to be a good teammate, but I also want to make sure that I survive the ride. It's a big group. There are a lot of horses. I can go back, relax a little bit, and always make my way back up to the front.
Now, people feel like cadence is one of those highly personal things, and I agree, but I really agree only when it comes to climbing. When it comes to climbing, some people like to spin up a very high cadence. Other people like to grind a low gear. Whatever works for you when it comes to climbing, please continue doing. When it comes to riding in a group situation at high speed, cadence isn't so much of a personal issue, it's more of a stability issue. Because if you're spinning too high a cadence, 100, 110 RPM, and the speed is really picking up, what's going to start to happen is you're going to start to bounce in the saddle and you're going to be very unstable. And it's going to be one of those situations where you don't look like you're good on the bike. And when I'm around a person in that situation, I'm looking at them and I'm trying to get away from them because I don't trust that scenario. If I'm going along around 23 miles an hour, which is kind of like a moderate speed, if you're in a group ride situation, I'm okay with 95 RPM. When the speed starts picking up north of 25, 27 miles an hour, and I'm drafting, I start bringing my cadence down 90, 85 RPM, because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for stability and consistency in pressure on the pedals. It's easier for me to have a consistent amount of pressure on the pedals if I'm doing it at a lower cadence than if I'm doing it at a higher cadence. So what this also starts to do is it starts to help me eliminate the need for freewheeling. And it just gives me a better rapport with the bike at that speed, let's just say. I was on a group ride not very long ago, and there was something going on with my derailleur. I found out later on that I'd actually banged it, and it was kind of like out of alignment, and I was stuck in the 14. and we're going 27 miles an hour. And I'm like trying to get into the 13 and I can't. And even though I was spinning about 90 RPM, I was like, this doesn't feel right. I wanted to get my cadence down to around 85. That's just where I knew I was going to be comfortable. It would also help me to bring down my heart rate a little bit. But what I was really looking for was stability on a bike at that speed, at the right cadence. So yeah, you're looking to be good on a bike, want to be known as a good cyclist, man, you got to get gelled with your cadence in high speed situations properly. Hey guys, I hope this topic of discussion was beneficial to you. Please share in the comment section below anything that I may have left off that you think is really, really important or integral to a person becoming better on the bike. I really wanted to take the opportunity to give a big thanks to you guys, our community, for subscribing to the channel, for watching these videos, for giving me likes and sharing the videos with other people. Also, those of you who have been bringing people to this channel, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. We just went over 8,000 subscribers and I'm blown away. So again, thank you big time. As always, our aim here at the channel is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.